J-Dog, here we go on Friday. Here we go again. Let's start with Mother Nature. We have a pretty good looking Friday for you. Jack Heath, good morning, New Hampshire. The Pulse of an Age pack show for you this morning. So buckle up. We're going to pull away from the gate here and get you out on the runway, or maybe not, based on the storm I'm hearing about these flight cancellations, the storm coming up this way. But we have a clear, nice looking start to our day. Sunny, 42 for a high, but then tonight the winds start to pick up, especially on the coast, but winds pick up and rain, something new and different. Something new and different. Rained starts overnight and all pretty much a rainy, windy Saturday, a blustery, windy, rainy Saturday. So we got that going for us. But we do have some wild card football. J-Dog and Josh from Beeson will be picking those wild card picks in the 11 o'clock hour. Let's back up a little bit. Let's back up and slow down. Take a deep breath. Slow down. It's Friday. We made it this far. It's Friday. Just down the road where we're going to be broadcasting live a week from Tuesday for the first in the nation presidential primary, live from the West Wing at St. Anselm College Institute of Politics. They have a packed show down there this morning. Why? What's going on? Senator Joe Manchin, West Virginia, speaking on behalf of No Labels, possible third-party rail. And guess what? The place is packed for this No Labels third-party event, but also protesters outside, J-Dog. Heavy police presence this morning. Breaking news that we're going to tell you about this for the St. Anselm College event. And you know why? It's climate activists that have sort of surrounded, and even some threats we're learning from officials there at the college, the Institute of Politics, climate activists. And you'd say, why would they be there Friday morning protesting happy-go-lucky Joe Manchin, who's not even running again? Oh, because he's from West Virginia and he likes energy and maybe even cares about energy jobs. I mean, I'm thinking about some of the craziness in this world. I heard this morning, President Biden finally, our military in the United States of America finally struck. I won't even use the adjective to describe the people in Yemen who've been bombing and doing the drones in the Red Sea, trying to cripple merchant export, merchant going through those precious canals. So all those goods we like in America, we finally struck the Tehran-backed terrorists that have been flying drones in there. And there's protesters in New York City. I'm getting to the point where maybe people should adopt a terrorist. These people that protest, and the media, the national media is so dumbed down on this, they call them progressives, protesting President Biden and the administration for striking these strikes in Yemen for the people, Iran, Tehran-backed terrorists that are flying drones into our U.S. Navy ships and, civilian merchant ships from around the world. We finally strike, and they call them progressive in New York City. They're regressives. Maybe they should just go out and adopt a terrorist if they care that much about Hamas, Hezbollah, Tehran, the terrorists that are doing this in the Red Sea. Go adopt a terrorist. I mean, that's what it's getting. It's crazy. But anyway, J-Dog, take it away. Yeah, it is packed. So Matthew's there. We're going to hear from him. Neil Vex there trying to direct all this. We're going to hear from him. Our own Dr. Vicar Manchramani's there. I guess it's a who's who, but the Manchin event, it's packed. Yeah, I'm blessed because when I come over here in the morning today, I'm out in Dover, Studio 2. I'm in Concord with you, J-Doc. My phone, pretty much the whole drive on 101, I'm getting calls, which is a blessing, from good friends like Dr. Vic. He got there early this morning. Couldn't even get near the facility, J-Dog, where this is happening because of police presence. And he finally said, what is going on? A bunch of climate activists threatening people, making threats. Who are these people, by the way? I'm just curious. I know in London for a while, they were going around, like if they saw like a Range Rover, they were, taking the metal down the side of the vehicle because they're a fuel guzzler. I don't know I really don't know what mushrooms they forage in the forest for some of these folks. And I respect free speech when it's peaceful. But what's going on this morning in Manchester with this heavy police presence? Now I'm going on. I don't have this verified from authorities. I have it verified from sources at the college or at the event that there was some threats made from this group. So the heavy police presence for Senator Joe Manchin, a U.S. Senator from West Virginia, coming up talking about the possibility of a no labels candidacy, a third party candidate. That should be a peaceful civil event. Oh, but Senator Manchin actually cares about energy and the people that rely to make a living in West Virginia on energy. I mean, I got to tell you, this talk about I know anxiety and depression are up and talk about a crazy world, and a lot of people have their special interests. I get it. I get that all day long. This is America, the great experiment. But what I don't get is the national media, and we'll hear from some of our regular contributors coming up in a little bit. I'll tell you what's coming up. When I hear from our national media on our own news, like ABC News, progressive protesting in New York City, the Biden administration striking, airstrikes in Yemen. They hit terrorist targets, you morons. They finally hit terrorist targets. Have you been like under a rock the last 4 to 6 weeks? These same terrorists in Yemen have been firing drones at U.S. naval warships in the Red Sea, trying to protect the area, you morons. For cargo vessels transporting goods to the free world through canals that are almost already choked up. This is the same mindset that I'll never forget of two sophomore college students in New York City at the height after the attack on Israel on October 7th, because there was a perfectly good ceasefire, you morons, in Gaza before October 7th. And what happened on that Saturday? About 200 or 300 Hamas terrorists went into Israel villages and kibbutz communities and beheaded infants, you morons. And they killed and raped girls, you idiots. And they killed and kidnapped grandmothers. And they were you're so nuts. You don't see that these people are trying to start World War III by attacking Israel. And then they run back into Gaza. So all the 20,000 Palestinians you're talking about were killed by Hamas, not Israel, because Hamas started the war. And where do they hide? In kindergarten schools and hospitals in Gaza. And Israel's the bad guy? Oh. And then the Red Sea happens coincidentally. Don't you see what Tehran was trying to do? Hamas backed by Tehran. Hezbollah backed by Tehran. The group in Yemen backed by Tehran. And then they start shooting at our Navy vessels in the Red Sea and other ships that bring you precious goods you eat and drink. They're trying to start a war. We're trying to stop it. And then you protest in New York City and you call yourselves progressives? I'm serious. The world's gone nuts. You must be eating in the forest some mushrooms that are causing hallucinations, because I don't know what planet you're sitting on. But if you feel that strongly about the groups that we bombed in Yemen, go over and adopt a few. But you don't have to worry about that because our border is so porous. A lot of the terrorists are already here. Commentary big time this morning. I had to get that off. I just was like, oh, my goodness. I'm calming down. Don't worry about me. 603-228-2080. Hey, Alexa. Hey, Google. Play the Pulse of an Age. Coming up, we're going to hear from Senator Lou, one of the leading Democrats in the State House. We're also going to hear from John Decker, our own White House correspondent, no doubt talking about some of what I was just talking about, these attacks. Also, Kevin Laverty, New Hampshire Union Leader, going to check in on some of the political stuff. New Hampshire's primaries a week from this Tuesday. Where are the polls at? We're going to hear from Neil Vec. That St. Anselm's poll shows Trump more with the same kind of lead he had before Chris Christie dropped out, by the way. Double-digit lead over Nikki Haley. Other polls suggesting it's only 7 points. Can Nikki Haley close the gap? And also some of our analysis this morning. We're going to hear from the folks in Iowa. Frigid temperatures there, by the way. Monday's the caucus process. That's coming up. And then the political carnival of the universe moves to New Hampshire for 1 full week. We're going to be broadcasting live from the West Wing, St. Anselm College, a week from Tuesday in the morning. Good morning, New Hampshire, the Pulse of an H, and our evening coverage brought to you by Dennehy Boulay Group. Some of our other great sponsors. Reminder, Wednesday, our town hall on mental health and addiction. That's just this coming Wednesday, January 17th. Capital Center for the Arts in Concord, Bank of New Hampshire stage. Great partners, Granite Recovery Centers, Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Hampshire. Our folks with Riverbend Health and In Stride Health. Dr. Cat, we had Cat on this week. Wednesday, 9 to noon, the State of Mental Health and Addiction right here at home. Hey, reminder, Good Hugh Boat Company, we're going to be broadcasting live from their great marinas around the region once we get into the summer months. But they're already thinking boating. The New England Boat Show is underway down in Boston. Good Hugh Boat GOODHUE boat.com. They have some great promotions going on right now to join the Goodhue Boat Club. You can go anywhere, pretty much anywhere, in their multiple marina location on the lakes or even up into Maine or down into Virginia or in Florida. And call ahead of time if you're a member of the boat club. Get a boat and leave it on the dock. Let them take care of it, and you don't have to trailer it home or pay for all the costs. So check out the Goodhue Boat Company or goodhueboat.com. Their promotions for their boat club, Cody and the team. We'll be back. Teddy Mountain, the official ski area of Good Morning New Hampshire, the Pulse of an H. Back with a couple of our regular guests next on the Pulse of an H. Back from my first segment there on some commentary, a little fired up on a Friday. I promise I'll start to chill, but I'm now calm. I just don't understand why the media calls some folks who gather in Times Square to protest bombing strikes in Yemen with British authorities, terrorist targets who've been targeting civilian and U.S. naval ships in the Red Sea. Why they call them progressives versus regressives? I don't get that. It's adopt a terrorist, I guess, if that's what you want. But that's I'll come back to that. Senator Manchin in St. Anselm College, where we're going to be broadcasting live primary day and evening. Packed house. John Decker on White House correspondent for Joe Manchin. He's there on behalf of No Labels. And speaking of folks that have a lot of time in their hands, I guess there was a lot of climate activists this morning choking the area around St. Anselm's with Manchin's appearance for No Labels, making some threats. Heavy police presence, according to some of our folks there. Of course, Manchin's from where? West Virginia. Energy jobs. So there you have it. But John Decker, Donald Trump, the big question with the primary, New Hampshire's primary after the caucus process in Iowa this Monday is, will Trump hold on and pull a big win off here in the primary over presumably Nikki Haley, or will Nikki Haley catch Trump in the end if independents show up in big numbers? And if Trump goes on to be the nominee, who might he choose as a VP? Sources say he's pretty much narrowed down the list. Maybe Kristi Noem of South Dakota is 2 or 3 in the list. I don't know who number 1 is. John Decker, White House correspondent. Take it away. Good morning, John. Wow. I mean, the only flashback in history, John Decker, would be Kennedy choosing Bobby as AG, but not a running mate. Wow, wow. You never know. I mean, and Senator Scott's an interesting thought because of where, John? Where? South Carolina, right? Right after New Hampshire. All right, John. Thank you. Wow. J Dog, some breaking news. Do you have any music for this breaking news? How about some a drum beat? You, I got to tell you before you say the news. I'm not going to say it for you. My smarter, prettier, better half 2 days since the news yesterday, she's been saying this, so she was right. You know what the problem is? I tell younger, the veterans I talk to in relationships, they're always right. You understand that out of the gate. You may not like it. They're always right. Take it away, J-Dog. And no real track record as a head coach. But you know what, J-Dog? You look at is it Antonio Pierce with the Raiders? You look at a player, he's not even 40 years old, right? Male. The players probably love and respect him. You know what I mean? Like Slater. You know what else I'd be doing? I don't run the Patriot. I'd be going right after Slater, who just stepping down as an assistant, because the players are going to respect and play for him. No offense to a 71-year-old legend. You know what I'm saying? Brain Belichick knows the game, but could be an emotional team. We haven't seen real. You know what I'm saying? You'll see Belichick near the end in the Jets game. He'll take his hood off and yell at the ref a little bit on a call or something to do with the clock. But when's the last time you really saw Belichick was never an overtly emotional coach. But you could see some real, and I think that's what's needed. I mean, I think the players today, you talk to some of these, I have a buddy who's been on the show, um, who runs Fusion Cell, one of our efforts that helps and supports veterans transition. And Matt knows Aaron Day, and he knows your buddy who was the Florida Gators coach out of Manchester. I mean Ryan Day, and then of course I'm spacing on the his buddy from who's now commentating was Florida Gators, the Gators coach Mullins, Coach Mullins. And he said one thing that Dan Mullen told him. Dan Mullen leaving Dan Mullen from Manchester as well. All folks that knew the great Nick Valis in that group, Trinity High School. Dan Mullen told Matt Morrissey, my buddy at Fusion Cell, who played football in college as well, saying that, it's hard to coach these kids today. You tell them to get down and do 50, and they look at you and say, nah, I don't feel like it. It's like the top college teams, the players are already pros, they act like it. So it's tough. It's tough for a Pete Carroll or a Tom. I mean, I almost said a Pete Carroll or a Bill Belichick to go in and start, yell at some of motivate them to, they're going to play. They're professionals. That's not my point. But, to really fire up, to dig down deeper, to go, like last week in that guy Hall for the Jets, he was just running like he was on fire. Like he just was just three players on him. He's still running. Yeah, a lot going on. I can't keep up with it all. And I think where Saban's gonna head? Right to the broadcast booth. Well, he doesn't have to. No, but he's such a competitive guy. I think he's gonna be on game day. I think he'll get right in the mix there. And he's great at it. I mean, obviously, probably the best in college, right? All right, Gerard Mayo, new Patriots head coach. And J-Dog, I have to say this. Good move by ownership. It's a statement to the players. No, because you know why? You always look at they're gonna bring in Vrabel. That's what I thought. You, or somehow Josh McDaniels will be upstairs, nope, 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 nope. Mark my words, guess who one of his assistants is gonna be? Slater, the former captain. His eloquence when he retired at that press conference, one of the best. I think he's done 16 years. You could see it in his face. 16 years. He already felt he was luckier than he deserved. But what a humble, wonderful human being. I think he'd be a great coach myself, Slater. I mean, assistant for Mayo. And who knows? I mean, they're going to figure it out there. You know what? What people don't talk about this. What was the final 4-13 or 4-12? What was their final record? 4 wins is all I remember. 4-13. No one's talking about that. Guess what? I think Mayo's going to probably beat that by a few games. You know what I'm saying? The Patriots. How can you? But the big question, J Dog, is not just now we know the coach. What's the quarterback situation? Do they use that number 3 draft choice for a quarterback? Probably, right? And they'll get a good one because it will be one of the top. You know, I don't know. All right. Hey, we have a lot going on. And coming up, Kevin Landrigan, New Hampshire Union Leader. Reminder going to Auto Fair Nissan and Stratum. Just say Jack. Let me spell that for you. Jack. Jack and get $500 off additional off the great deal. In any vehicle, all there, new or used, Nissan or not, Nissan Stratum, $500 beyond. Great primary deal. Auto Fair, Nissan and Stratum. Auto Fair, a great sponsor of our state police segment. Really enjoyed having Liz Everett on yesterday from Bank of America talking about the data. Amazing what she was talking about in terms of some of what's happening in our economy, and that's on demand. Where? At the Pulse of NH. Liz's interview, as well as Senator Rob Portman yesterday. He's at the event of Ohio was on our guest. That event I'm talking about, we're going to hear from Kevin Landrigan. Packed show down at St. Anselm College, one of our great partners, Institute of Politics. Senator Joe Manchin, No Labels, the group. He's speaking, and they had climate activists sort of disrupting the morning, heavy police presence. Some of the college, I did hear from a reliable source, there were some, I don't know if they were veiled threats, serious threats, but today they take everything seriously. They wanted all the guests to be safe and sound. Big event, packed house. A lot of our contributors are there. Going to hear from Matthew Bartlett, Dr. Vic, Kevin Landrigan, Neil Levesque. Good morning, New Hampshire. The Pulse of an H. Jack Heath. Back in a moment. It's Friday, Kevin Landigan, New Hampshire leader. Kevin, I'm chuckling only because there's so much going on, and I want to know if you're down with those climate activists at St. Anselm College that sort of disrupted and protested before the Senator Mansion event for no labels at the college because they're anti-energy. Are you down there, Kevin? Are you at the St. A's? No, but I concerned a friend's trying to get in. I guess there was a heavy police presence out there because of I don't know if you heard about some possible threats. What Yeah. Did he talk at all about the current 2024, the primary, third party, who the I'm hearing Larry Hogan of Maryland, who's been on the show, might be stepping down to look at that. There are all kind of rumors on who a third no labels candidate might be. Okay. So what's the name of his group, Kevin? Because okay, we're correct. Because I thought it was no labels at first. Yep. Interesting, Kevin. How many people there for this event with Mansion? Pretty much packed. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. A lot of Kevin. Just to segue a little bit back this week, if we could. Chris Christie, Thursday afternoon, out in New Hampshire. He's out of the race. The big question I'm hearing, and that St. A's poll where you are at this Mansion event, Neil Levesque's Institute of Politics, came out yesterday afternoon, reflected their first poll that Trump still carries or holds a double-digit lead over Nikki Haley. And if you take Christie's numbers of 9%, assuming 100% go to Haley, not Trump, he still has a lead. the big question after Iowa, we don't know the result of the caucus process on Monday yet, is will Trump hold on at about 40 points is what Jeb Bradley predicted on my show last a week or so ago when I pressed him. Will he hold on at about 40 points and win New Hampshire's primary, go on and win, South Carolina, win the nomination with about a 9 or 10 point win over Nikki Haley here, or will it be closer? And that sort of seems with independents and undeclared taking part. That seems to be the $1 billion political question right now going into Tuesday's primary, a week from Tuesday. Yeah. 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 Yep. And conversely, I think you'd agree, Kevin Landrigan, senior reporter, political reporter, New Hampshire union leader. If Trump ends up winning New Hampshire after Iowa and goes on and wins South Carolina, I think it's pretty much over at that point. Isn't Kev, Kevin? It's Friday. Keeping this light for a moment. Isn't it really ironic? Because we don't know yet. Because I think what we're also going to find out a week from Tuesday. It's a Republican primary for the most part. It's not a general election. It's a big event because it's an unusual event. It's not like you're electing a school board seat in Litchfield. It's a presidential primary in New Hampshire a week from Tuesday. But it's largely a Republican primary because the DNC and Biden tried to take away our primary. So we're going to find out if the New Hampshire Republican base in a primary, not a general election, where Chris Sununu has been very successful. We're going to find out a week from Tuesday if a Republican primary base is the party of Trump in New Hampshire or the party of Sununu. That's my take. I think it's a real test there to find out if Sununu can really move enough independents or undeclared over to vote, moderates, if you will, to vote for Nikki. That's the push, right? Let's be honest. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Right. And right. And Kevin, real quick, it's interesting. I had thought with all the Republicans running for the primary against Trump, with Trump, DeSantis when he came out announced or before he announced, got reelected in Florida. He was the big number one draft choice for Republicans. You had all these Republicans, Mike Pence, former vice president. I could go on and on. Nikki Haley, all these people. Vivek Ramaswamy came on strong and then kind of, leveled off. And Trump. I thought there was a bigger chance that a different nominee would emerge on the Republican side than the former president than on the Democrat side with an incumbent Democrat president, Joe Biden. I'm ironically looking at New Hampshire and the tea leaves beyond. I think there's a greater chance, you heard it here, that by the time the Democrats get to their convention, it's either going to be a brokered convention or there's going to be another top choice for Democrats other than the incumbent president, Joe Biden. And there's probably a better than good chance that it's going to end up being Trump for the Republicans. I would have thought that would have been the flip going into this. Yeah. All right, Kevin. All right, Kevin Lanigan, New Hampshire leader. Thank you on a Friday at the Mansion event. And the name of his group, once again, is? All right. Thank you, Kevin. All right. We got some windy, rainy weather moving in tonight for tomorrow. Patriots name Gerard Mayo, their new head coach, not someone from the outside or a former player like Vrabel. J Dog, I want to come back and have fun with you on something. I'm getting some messages from people who listen to us because we have so many people streaming during the week as well, the 9 to 10 or 9 to 11 or 9 to noon hour, or on our network of news talk stations, the Pulse of an H. Good morning, New Hampshire, the Pulse of an Age. Good morning up into Maine. Good morning in the country nationally. But they also listen to some sports talk. And the sports talk in Boston is ripping apart this Mayo decision. They're ripping apart Kraft. And you know what? They're a bunch of jerks. A lot. I was trying to listen yesterday afternoon after the Belichick press conference, a few of them, just negative, anti. And I get that friction creates listenership, but Felger and some of these morons, I can tell you, they're terrible. I mean, I'll come back on what I think next on Good Morning Hampshire, the Pulse of an Age. And then J Dog. I think Bruins have had a tough row here. I think they're in action tomorrow night against your team, the Blues. Cool. Hey, we're going to bring in one of our regular contributors from earlier who's at the event. Before you know what? I'm going to come back and pay you a compliment, J Doc. State Senator Lou, now formerly number 87, UNH Wildcats, D'Alessandro, leading Democrat state senator. Good morning, Senator. Yes, I think that's great. I agree. I agree. Right. I agree. I concur. And what I love about you is you can say that, and he's not quote unquote, he's a Democrat, but you're talking about the way New Hampshire operates and the way Washington needs to get back to, finding the common ground, even if you don't agree. Well, right. I love your optimism. Senator Lou on a Friday. I'll let you get back to the event. Thank you for checking in. Senator Lou D'Alessandro, Lion of the Senate. Thank you. So we're going to get more because a lot of people were at that mansion event. We're going to hear from actually, we're going to hear from Neil Levesque. We're going to hear from Matthew Bartlett, one of our great partners out there. Dr. Vic is fired up. He was there this morning as well. J Doc, a compliment coming to you because you and I know, well, we've been doing this a little bit of time, right? Almost as long as Belichick was coaching the Patriots. We've been at this, right? Yeah. Well, I had my midlife crisis. I went to an earlier show on a different network and had the sense to come to a locally owned and operated group. Yes. But no, I have to pay you a compliment. You went into the new year, you were determined, and you've been doing this exercise, working out, lifting weights. And I know this doesn't happen a lot where people say, "Hey, you look great. You look good." I'm just going to tell you, as a guy, friend, a buddy, you look good. You're what's the term? Svelte. You've trimmed down. Svelte. You've trimmed down. I don't know if you're going to still try and be a outside linebacker for Gerard Mayo of the Patriots, but you've trimmed down, and I just want to tell you, you look great. How many steps do you do a day total if you add up the morning and everything? Steps. What's normally like if someone took a 3-mile walk? How many steps is that? I don't know. Well, yeah. So step up. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I've never been aware. I go to the doctor once a year when you get that whole visit. They tell you to get on the scale, but I kind of always hovered at about the as an adult. I don't know. I'm just everyone's different, right? I've never been like a weight watcher guy, but then again, I don't know. I kind of move fast. I always have, so I just try to keep moving. Well, but you know what? I never look at you that way, but you know what? It's good for you to realize that and do it. And you know what? I also have to applaud J-Dog because I was talking to another buddy about this. Is let's talk about it. Health is wealth, and I like that you're doing it. And I don't mean to sound like Tom Cruise here and get yelled at by a bunch of people, and has nothing to do with Scientology. Um, but I love how you I love the fact you're doing it through exercise or being active versus, and no disrespect to anyone, taking a pill. I just personally, there's more and more of this. I know some people need. I mean, I'm not saying medications don't have their use, but half of these things you watch an NFL game, you see a big pharma ad on one of these pills. Oh, take this. And you ever notice, I hate to say it, it's so goofy. Everyone in the ad is smiling and they're doing the canoe and the golden retrievers jumping in the pond, chasing the tennis ball, and everyone's happy and they get the music. And then the end of it is taking this pill could cause stroke, suicide, death, you know, heart attack, whatever. Okay, go ahead and take it. All right. Okay, I'm breathing. Hey, we got a packed show for you coming up. Hey, Alexa, hey, Google, play the Pulse of an H. Back with 10 o'clock hour next.